Captain 2000 here, and welcome back to Triangle Strategy. I am the devil on Serenoa Wolfort's shoulder, as we lead ourselves not through Norzelia, but through the world. In the last episode, we cleared Chapter 16, most of it anyway, and we emptied out the Frosty that were stuck in the Grand Norzelian mines, and in those mines, the mines that have been there since the beginning of the game, we found crystals of salt, changing the fate of Norzelia permanently. With all three ruling nations now aware of the salt crystals in the Grand Norzelian mines, we approach a crossing point, a turning point for the ages. This is, by the way, is part 34, I think. Let me check. Yep, part 34. So, let us see what comes next. Whoop.
Deep in the Grand Norzelian mines lay a most unexpected discovery. Crystals of pure salt. Now in possession of knowledge that could alter the course of history in Norzelia, the members of House Wolfort gather at Whiteholm Castle to discuss their next move.
Chapter 17, Part 1, If Grief Could Passions Move.
Unexpected though it may be, the salt crystals are now ours. How shall we proceed?
Carefully, for it has the potential to alter the balance of power across Norzelia. This is an opportunity to reshape the realm to our benefit. We must be strategic.
It's a target on our backs is what it is. There'll be no peace for us so long as we hold them.
Hyzant will set upon us with a fury we've never known if they hear of this.
True.
She's right. They will stop at nothing to defend their faith.
Nor will Frost go quietly into the night.
Then let us prepare for when word does spread, rather than fret over how long we can keep the secret. Whether we protect the salt as ours, or find another way to use it, we must act soon.
What say you, Your Majesty?
We find ourselves at a crossroads. Not just as a kingdom, but an entire realm. Our decision will touch every life in Norzelia. I too wish to act quickly. But I beg you all for a moment alone with my thoughts.
Yeah, we should probably think
Your
on this.
caution is admirable, but ill-advised. Hesitation could cost us everything.
That much is obvious. Yet I cannot race headlong into the unknown when so much depends upon us.
Benedict, I find myself unmoored as well. I wish to hear from all present before we decide upon a course of action.
Aye.
As you wish. Pray let it be swift.
Serenoa, answer me this. Can I count on you to walk the path with me? Whatever it may be.
Yes. With 100% certainty, Roland, yes.
I was named Lord of House Wolfort long before I was inducted into the Saintly Seven. And I've been your friend even longer still.
Say no more. Take the others to Castle Wolfort and await my word. Likewise, inform me of any movements from Hyzant.
As you wish. Until we meet again.
Roland has sort of been with us for almost the entire game. I feel like it'd be a crime to just have Roland not be here anymore. Benedict! Benedict gets some side stuff. Yeah, that's a lot of side stories. Alright, we'll read 2 first, then we will look at Benedict's story. The changing of the times spares no one, not even the Norzelia Consortium. It's been a while since we've seen Claris, since chapter 10, I think.
Have you heard the popular rumor, Lord Claris?
That Hyzant intends to raise an army against Glenbrook? Yes, I am familiar.
So it's reached the Consortium then. Is it true?
King Roland has only just reclaimed the Crown City with Hyzant's help, not to mention restored relations with them. Ordinarily, such a thing would be unthinkable. but the rumors are so persistent that I think something may be afoot.
For example?
I wouldn't be so restless if I had an example to give.
Claris is just as concerned as we are.
Esfrost gathers its troops at Twins Gate. Might they have heard the rumors as well?
Perhaps. A battle for the very soul of Norzelia may loom on the horizon. But therein lies the opportunity for merchants like us. You can't wage war without a surfeit of supplies.
You're quite right about that.
And each shift in Norzelia's power balance opens new business opportunities.
Will the Consortium continue trading with Hyzant?
'Tis difficult to say. I believe House Wolfort's actions from here on will be key to the Consortium's decision.
House Wolfort, you say?
I guess we've outweighed the king.
Indeed. They've been involved in most every conflict between the three nations on this continent. Why stop now? I shall wait and see how Lord Serenoa responds first, lest I make any hasty decisions.
All right. Meanwhile, at Twins Gate, Gustadolf gathers his troops at Twins Gate and rallies them by revealing that the Grand Norzelian mines and salt crystals have been taken from Esfrost.
I am gladdened to see each and every one of you, my ironclad brothers in arms, here at Twins Gate. I have asked you here to tell you of a most fortuitous discovery. We have found crystals of salt deep in the Grand Norzelian mines.
This speech is good.
Alas, Glenbrook has taken those very mines from us. What's worse, Glenbrook's esteemed House Wolfort is led by one of the Saintly Seven of Hyzant. They will no doubt be informed of the salt crystals, and their precious religion will be shaken to its core. I trust you can all imagine how Hyzant will respond to such an affront. They will not go quietly, but will instead seek the crystals for themselves, that their reign of terror may continue unimpeded. Therefore, we must subdue Glenbrook and seize the mines for Esfrost if we are to counter this grave threat. But we cannot stop there, for that will only draw Hyzant to our gates. They will stop at nothing to conquer all of Norzelia in their name. The Duchy has never been in a more precarious position. But we will not yield. We subscribe to no faith, and we bend the knee for no king.
This is one of my favorite speeches. I've rewatched this chapter more times than any other in this game. I love chapter 17. Ah, God, it's so good.
We shall greet our enemies at Twins Gate with cold, hard steel. Our newest weapon, the Death Knell, is nearly complete. With it, we shall strike back at Hyzant. The false goddess shall crumble beneath the sheer force of our iron will, and Hyzant reduced to rubble along with her. Raise your swords, my black iron heroes. Your names shall be cast in iron when the histories of this day are written. You shall be known as the defenders of Esfrost! For Esfrost!
Oh yes. The Death Knell will reduce many a falsehood to rubble, dear Gustadolf.
Alright, sorry about that. I actually had my mic muted, but I'm going to have to remute it because we have a character story. While working on the riverbank, Eridor recounts tales from he and Benedict's youth.
Once we have stacked those sandbags, we should be well fortified against even the fiercest deluge.
Nearly did it again.
Leave it to me. This old wolf has some vim in him yet. Phew. Haven't used some of those muscles since before I can remember.
I must say, when I saw the enormity of the task before us, I did not think we would finish in mere bells. I had braced myself for a full day of labor, at the very least.
Thank Benedict for that. We'd still be searching for weaknesses in our perimeter had he not been guiding us.
Indeed, but let us not understate Eredor's feats of strength.
Come now, Eredor. How many times must I tell you to be delicate with the sandbags? We only have so many at hand.
I hear you, I hear you. I'll treat him as delicately as my lady love, in the absence of one.
Now is not the time for jests, Eredor.
If you don't want me complaining and you don't want me jesting, then I guess I'll just shut my mouth.
To hear them trading barbs like children, you would never think they work so well together.
Wisdom and strength. Two pillars that keep House Wolfort standing strong.
Wisdom, eh? He wasn't always that way. Took him plenty of failing to get where he is now.
I find that difficult to believe.
Is there something you wish to share with us, Eredor?
Might be. Maybe you've forgotten the folly of 20 years past, but my mind is a steel trap. And what's our task for today?
I actually want to stop right here for a second. We have the young versions of these characters. A young Eredor. He was a soldier of the Saltarian War fighting under Simon's command. I love the designs of them.
We are to deliver this message to Lady Destra with all haste.
Especially Benedict's version. A young Benedict. He was a soldier in the Saltarian War fighting under Lord Simon's command. So yeah, this is what Benedict looked like when he was younger. Still the same gray hair, but a lot less gray, a lot less beard, a lot cooler looking. Alright, I'll shut up now.
Seems simple enough. Send a bird.
I would not trust a bird in this rain. A horse would be more reliable, and swifter besides.
Is that so? I respectfully disagree, my friend. Either way, I'm not going to be the one nursing you back to health if you catch the chills.
Shall we make it a wager, then? Send a bird, and we shall see who reaches Lady Destra first. You had best hurry.
What? Benedict? Off he goes. Well then, where are those damned hawks? As I recall, Benedict arrived at around the same time as the hawk. If it were a sunny day, he might have won.
Ah, the folly of youth. Many of our best days were spent in Lord Simon's service. We made many such wagers, in an attempt to get into Lord Simon and Lady Destra's good graces.
I remember when...
I believe we have had enough reminiscing for one day, Eredor.
Don't be such a harsh taskmaster, Benedict. Where's the harm in a story?
Ask me that again when the floodwaters break through our meager fortifications. There is much to do and little time to do it. Wouldn't you agree, Anna?
Me?
Old friends or old enemies? Sometimes it is hard to tell with those two.
Whatever the case, our work's done for the day. And there's nothing like a hard drink after hard labor. You two care to join me?
I would love to. Please, regale me with more tales of your youth.
I see no harm in one drink.
Let's be off then.
Shall we invite Benedict along?
You'd only be wasting your breath.
Now that you mention it, I do not believe I have ever seen you two sharing drinks.
Spirits cloud the mind, so I rarely drink. When I do partake, however, I prefer to do so in quiet. I fear Eridor would only spoil that.
Alright, that was nice to see. Anyway, let's see what's going on at the Hierophant's Palace. Word of the salt crystals within the Grand Roselian Mines reaches the Hierophant's Palace. Let's see how Hyzant responds to this. This should be fun. Here's the Saintly Six. Without ceremony.
Ah, Milo has sent a dispatch from Glenbrook. Deep within the Grand Roselian Mines lies... It would seem salt crystals were found within.
Impossible!
The discovery of salt outside the source explains Gustadolf's recent provocations.
How can you be so calm? The teachings tell us that salt is a blessing, bestowed only upon the goddess's followers.
Whew, you in for a rude awakening there, buddy.
The discovery of these salt crystals is an existential threat to Hyzant.
Salt crystals are salt too. We need only keep word of this discovery from spreading.
Of course. But how?
The Hierophant has spoken. Minister Exham, you shall raise an army and seize the Grand Roselian Mines in Hyzant's name.
Oh, joy.
The Hierophant asks us to invade Glenbrook?
Do you have another way to silence King Roland and his royal hounds in House Wolfort?
Minister Serenoa is one of us, and thus is honor-bound to heed the Hierophant's word. But we know not if he will do so, or if he will cast his lot with his precious king. You shall ask him yourself when you surround Castle Wolfort en route to the mine.
Wow!
And if he resists?
You are free to deal with him, as we do with all who forsake the goddess.
Oh, joy. Okay. So...
Hyzant has learned of the salt crystals. Minister Exham of the Saintly Seven wastes no time in mustering his army, which now marches on the Grand Roselian Mines.
Oh, boy. Things are serious.
Elsewhere, Gustadolf amasses his own forces at Twinsgate in anticipation of the war to come. All eyes are on Glenbrook, where Roland and Serenoa's pronouncement could touch off a battle for the soul of Norzelia. After much deliberation, Roland makes his way to Castle Wolfort to inform Serenoa of the decision that now weighs heavy on his heart.
All right. The next few minutes are going to be giving the options for what the next conviction scale is. As stated previously, this is the last conviction vote of the game. So, I'm going to shut up and let Roland, Frederica, and Benedict tell them what they came up with.
I appreciate you coming all this way, Roland.
I was the one who asked for your time, so it is only natural I make the journey. I wish to tell you that I finally made up my mind.
And I would hear your decision if you were willing to share it with me.
I've long pondered over the one thing that Norzelia needs most. I thought back on the Salt Iron War. 30 years have passed, yet the root of our conflict remains the same. Each nation still thinks only of itself, wishing to fill its coffers even at the expense of others. But who bears the brunt of such a war?
The people.
Exactly so. The avarice of the ruler is an existential threat to their loyal subjects.
And yet without that wealth, the people suffer just as much. They languish in poverty.
This much is obvious. But there can be no winner without a loser. Remove one, and you necessarily remove the other. If we achieve equality, we achieve peace.
And how do you propose we achieve? No. No, surely you don't mean...
Yes. The goddess's teachings. All can live as equals under the goddess. An authority greater than any king. The model nation was in front of us all along, Serenoa. The holy state of Hyzant. I have decided that we must give the salt crystals in the Grand Norzelian mines to Hyzant.
And in so doing, you'll give them control of all Norzelia.
Exactly. There will be no more squabbling over salt. Norzelia will know eternal peace at last.
Unequal peace, surely. One built on the backs of a people like the Roselle, if not the Roselle themselves.
I am not blind to that fact. But so few will suffer for the good of so many. Nothing in this world is perfect, Serenoa. The sacrifice of the few for the good of the many. It's the only clear answer, and one I would give every time I were asked.
Submitting to the goddess will rob you of your kingship.
So be it. My crown, my pride. They're but small prices to pay for peace.
You are truly prepared to throw it all away.
Join me, Serenoa. Let us unite Norzelia under the Holy State.
Roland, this is quite sudden.
I understand. Pray, take all the time you need. I expect Frederica will want nothing to do with this plan, seeing as it forsakes her people. I am already mourning the rift this may cause between you. But I shall not be swayed. This will be my final act as Glenbrook's king.
King Roland's anguish plays plainly across his face. It pains me to see him so tortured.
I'm not surprised. The future of our kingdom, to say nothing of the entire continent, rests upon his shoulders.
Pray tell, what do you intend to do about the salt crystals?
In truth, I cannot decide. Salt is too precious to be hoarded. We've a duty to share it with the people, which is...
Where the difficulty lies, yes. The source makes that all too clear. Salt lies at the heart of every war in Norzelia.
Would that the boundless salted sea of Rosellan legend still existed. We'd have no need of conflict if there were a source of salt for all.
My love, if I may, the discovery of the salt crystals has made two things plain to me. The first is that my mother spoke true in the legend she passed on to me.
And the other is that the goddess's teachings are nothing more than a lie built to constrain your people.
Just so. We are guilty of nothing. Yet the Roselle languish in the source, where they are looked down upon and forced to work until they die. Entire generations lost, countless lives given to Hyzant's cruelty. Cruelty created to justify Hyzant's own avarice and lust for power.
Such is the ugly lie at the heart of their teachings.
One revealed by a crystal of the mineral they hold so dear. The time has come, Serenoa. The Rosal must be freed. The salt crystals have brought us to the brink of war. We can harness this unrest, incite the Rosal to rise up and rebel against their captors.
I am with you. Believe me, I am. But you make it sound so...
Simple. Yes, I know. But the suffering of my people is so distant for everyone else. We can no longer wait for someone to do the right thing. Help isn't coming. Why else would my own mother incite rebellion? We are alone.
I swear to you, none of this feels distant to me. The Roselle live in my domain. I am betrothed to you, my dear. It couldn't feel any closer.
And I thank the stars that I have you by my side. I do. In truth, that's why I think this time will be different. Why I'll be able to accomplish what my mother could not.
I agree. But the risk is immense. Suppose we succeed, what then? Hyzant will not let us go quietly.
Of course not.
And when that time comes, you can lead the Roselle to Centralia, just as your mother wrote about in the book she left behind. Beyond the Great Falls and the Falk's domain at the end of the Norzelia River, the ancestral home of the Roselle.
But that's just a legend.
We've already found one legend to be rooted in truth. Perhaps this one is as well. And if not, at least you'll be safe from harm.
I doubt Benedict will share our feelings, though. Abandoning all we've built to embark on a journey fraught with danger in search of a legend. Yet no matter how perilous the path ahead, I would happily walk it at your side.
I trust you understand what a monumental effect the discovery of these salt crystals will have on Norzelia's history. Whatever course of action we choose will determine whether House Wolfort leaves a legacy in that history, or is expunged from it.
How would you proceed, Benedict?
I would do all I could to keep it from falling into Hyzant's hands. They already control the source. With the crystals in hand, they will solidify their grip on the realm and in time dominate it. The siren song of a false equality under their goddess shall blanket the land, claiming every domain and its people.
Even though they count me among the Saintly Seven?
Even then, for that matters little when the equality they espouse is dictated by the goddess, or should I say, the Hierophant. In the end, they will have the same life and death control over all Norzelia that they now hold over the Roselle.
And our wounds from the battle with Esfrost have only begun to heal. Hyzant will destroy us if we wage war against them in our current state.
But they stand little chance against us if we ally with Esfrost.
Ally with Esfrost? Are you of sound mind, Benedict?
Quite. Think about it for a moment. Esfrost wants nothing more than to loosen Hyzant's grip. They will go to war if it means control of the salt crystals.
Our interests are broadly aligned, yes, but...
Esfrost has been building toward precisely that purpose for some time now.
You speak of the Death Knell, the weapon that Cordelia mentioned.
Precisely. A weapon capable of reducing the goddess's shield to rubble, leaving Hyzant's capital ripe for the taking. Without that weapon, we cannot win. You need only say the word, and I shall convince Esfrost to join our side.
I appreciate your candor, Benedict, and I do not doubt you could secure Esfrost's cooperation. But I fear the harder fight is within our own domain. King Roland's heart will not be easily won.
I bid you listen closely and calmly to what I'm about to ask.
From whence this somber tone?
Do you believe King Roland is fit to rule?
What are you implying?
Decorum is of little use when the fate of our realm is at stake, Lord Serenoa. Are you content to spend the rest of your life in servitude to another?
Not another word, Benedict. Roland is more than my king. He is my friend.
And you are Lord of House Wolfort, whose military prowess is known to all Norzelia. Not the guard dog of Glenbrook and Hyzant. What else are you here to do, if not to protect your house and keep its banner aloft? But you have the potential for so much more. All Norzelia could be yours if you but desired it.
Treason, if not outright regicide. These are your suggestions.
Of course not. The blood in your veins and the royal family's ring are claim enough to the throne. There is no need for violence.
I told you not to speak of that again.
But you did not tell me to forget. The time to reckon with your lineage draws near. You must make a...
I've heard enough. Leave me.
Just know that I will do anything you ask of me, Lord Serenoa. I pray that you make the right choice, not only for House Wolfort, but for yourself.
And so we find ourselves at the conviction choice. Depending on what choice you make, if I can pull up the War Chronicle map, here we have 3 choices. Depending on what route you end up with, you will get an alternate ending. There are 3 main endings. And each ending correlates to a certain character.
You are certain Hyzan's army marches for the Grand Norzelian mines?
There is no doubt.
So,
They've heard word of the crystals.
Each ending correlates to one of the convictions.
It was...
Esfrost's army gathers at Twinsgate as well.
And...
War's breaking out over this thing, and we've got to be ready.
Aye.
How will Glenbrook respond, King Roland?
There's no need to prepare for war.
I'm gonna shut up.
I have decided that we will surrender the salt crystals to the holy state of Hyzant.
What?
Furthermore, I hereby declare that the kingdom of Glenbrook and its people shall submit to the goddess and her teachings. There is no way to bring happiness to all Norzelia with the salt crystals. Which is why I have chosen a path that will allow the greatest number of people to live in equality and harmony.
How could you? Do you not see that Hyzant's dominion over Norzelia's salt is why we are in conflict already? Is the suffering of the Rosal not proof enough that the goddess's vaunted equality is a lie?
She speaks the truth, my king. Handing over the salt crystals is tantamount to giving Hyzant's goddess free reign of Norzelia. Will you so readily surrender the realm to the Hierophant?
I acknowledge the abdication of my kingdom and kingship alike. A small price to pay in my eyes, in exchange for the security and prosperity of the many.
And the sacrifice of the Rosal, is that a small price to you?
It is.
How could you say such a thing to my face?
I, for one, oppose. I would prefer to ally with Esfrost and strike back at Hyzant. The salt deposits within the mines give us the leverage we need to convince Gustadolf to join us.
Ally with Esfrost? You dare suggest we ally with the man who murdered my father?
I see no reason why we should not. You proposed abdicating the throne for the sake of the kingdom and its people. so you should have no trouble putting aside your own feelings and judging this matter dispassionately.
I cannot believe my own ears. I will not have you lecture me on feelings when it is not your father he murdered.
None of you can see beyond your own grievances. It's no wonder my people have suffered for generations. We're told to believe in the goddess, while our own lives are thrown away to make a few more grains of your precious salt. And now, even with proof that the goddess is a lie, you would watch us dig our own graves for your comfort.
Lady Frederica, please. We shall speak of the Roselle in due time.
No, I've heard that before. Your due time is never, and I will not have you cast us aside for another 3 decades or more. All else is in disarray. If Hyzant seizes the salt crystals, we forfeit the best opportunity in decades to free my people. We know the truth. We must act upon it. We must be a light in the darkness.
We cannot afford to dilute our forces when the enemy marches on us as we speak.
So we are a distraction to you?
I am merely being rational. Liberating the Roselle would be extremely dangerous. We cannot take such a risk. Suppose we succeed. How do you propose we fend off the fury Hyzant will rain down upon us?
Esfrost would pounce on us, sensing weakness at the undue burden we've taken upon ourselves.
Precisely. We would be without allies and ripe for the taking.
There is another way.
And what, pray tell, would that be?
We set out alongside the Roselle in search of Centralia.
Centralia is a myth.
The legends of my people are true.
I care not one whit if they are. I will hear no talk of forsaking the Wolfort domain.
Silence! I have heard enough to know where each of you stand. Do you all hold the courage of your own convictions?
Ooh.
I do.
Moral freedoms, utilize liberty, and
Nothing I've heard here has swayed me.
I feel the same.
Very well.
Liberated utility.
But know that a choice must be made. There can only be one way forward. Face the scales of conviction and prepare to make peace with the outcome.
All right. The vote we take today may well open a rift between us. Nevertheless, I must proceed, and I am prepared to accept its outcome. We have 4 undecided individuals. We can either place our faith in Frederica's vision, we can stand with Roland, or we can assent to Benedict's strategy. This alone determines what ending you get. Each ending is built on a different conviction. Green is, once again, I can never remember. Let me check off the top of my head. So, the thing about this game that I really kind of like about these main characters is when you first are introduced to them, Frederica is Liberty, as viewed as the Liberty character, Roland is Morality, and Benedict is Utility. Frederica has the Morality ending, Roland has the Utility ending, and Benedict has the Liberty ending. All 3 of these endings have big downsides, but we must see all 3. The one that I am going for today, and I have spent the entire project up until this point thinking about what this ending will be. We are going for morality. We are placing our faith in Frederica's vision. Lord Serenoa, I cannot help but feel that our greatest battle lies ahead regardless of which path you choose. I know this may not be the best time to say so, but my wife gave birth to our first child not a few days ago. You are a father before a soldier. It is your duty to protect your own house before that of Wolfort. Lord Serenoa, you would allow me to leave House Wolfort at a time like this, but of course, before you do, though, allow me to thank you for all you have done for our house. I wish you and your family every happiness. Thank you, Lord Serenoa. It is an honor to call you my lord. Alright, To think King Roland, Lady Frederica, and Sir Benedict's convictions would diverge so greatly after all this time. Just between you and me, Lord Cyrano, what do you think of their plans? Frederica's wish is a human one. She desires to liberate those who have been cruelly suppressed. In case it feels like I'm sort of grinding on nails, commonly most people consider Frederica's ending the best ending and Roland's ending the worst. I actually reverse that. Actually don't believe that. I believe that Frederica's ending is my least favorite in the game, but considering the choices I've made, it's also probably the most likely for Cyrano to make, so I'm gonna go with that. Let's figure out what to do. Now, the 4 undecided individuals have leaning things. I believe Eridor will always go with Benedict, Gila defaults to Frederica, Huette defaults to Roland, and I believe will default to Benedict as well, so I think we get Liberty by default. Let's see if we can convince that. You cannot convince anybody, any one of the 3 main lords to change their mind. You can't.
Aye, lad.
Our sweat and blood fed this land, built it into a proper domain. I see no reason why we should surrender it to Hyacinthe and Lady Frederica. While I sympathize, ask that we risk everything for the sake of the Roselle.
Here's what I think.
Benedict's got the right of it, I reckon, but even that doesn't quite quiet the nagging feeling I get every time I think about our options. I wish to place my faith in Frederica's vision. How could you possibly support Lady Frederica's vision? Have you gone mad? I wish to carry on, nay, surpass my father's legacy of protecting the Roselle. I need you with me, Eridor. Outdo your own father. Meaning what exactly? Do more for the Roselle than he did? I know things aren't what they were during the Sultan War, but it is not House Wolford's duty to come to the aid of those in need. Are we not to fight injustice and tyranny wherever it may be? You dare invoke Simon's lone words? I cannot do this alone, Eridor. The risk is too great. Only if all of House Wolford unites as one will we have a chance to succeed. I hear you, lad.
So.
Just give me a moment to sit with what you said. I will, by the way, just in case you heads up, we are going with morality here. I will restart if it's not.
Lord Cyrano.
Benedict and King Roland would march us to war. Frederica will see Hyacinthe hunt us for all eternity. Perhaps her vision is not so different. So it's come to this. Ally with a one-time opponent or flee with the Roselle.
However.
Bold proposals all. Our tactics must be flawless. So you assent to Frederica's vision for the future. War is coming, a war to all of Norzelia, a war for all of Norzelia, and you would forfeit your role in it? This is how we end the war. Hyacinthe will crumble once we free the Roselle.
No.
I simply cannot agree. It will throw Hyacinthe to chaos, but only briefly. They will stop at nothing to restore order and maintain the authority of their beloved goddess. You forget there are those who question her authority already. Do you not think they would seize the opportunity and revolt?
But?
Possibly, but there is a slight hope in the face of an enemy so powerful as Hyacinthe. They stifled a rebellion 30 years ago. Now they move to take the salt crystals and the mines in which they were found for themselves. If I may speak plainly, my lord, your strategy is too fanciful. I urge you to ground it in reality if you wish to collapse the holy state. Shit. Anna, please don't do this to me. Not at this point in the game.
However,
here we stand after a bitter fight to reclaim the crown city, not only for the king to speak of forsaking it. As the subject, is it my duty to follow his decree, and yet, my lord, the choice before us feels immense. I am utterly adrift. Pray, tell me how you see the proposals from King Roland and the others. I need your guidance. You've taken Frederica's side in all this. What fascination do the Roselle hold for you, my lord? Frederica has shown me a future in which no one is beholden to salt or indeed to any nation. So if the choice is to ally with the Duché, who prize might above all else, or submit to the holy state who prey upon the weak, you mean to suggest we simply do neither? Precisely. She has shown me the Rosellan legends are true. This means there is hope for all of us. I hope we bet my life on. So long as we sit between two nations who have no compassion for the weak, I fear we will never know peace.
Furthermore,
I take your point. War will spread, and perhaps only end when the death knell and Elfric are unleashed upon the continent. So you see why I would choose to flee with the weak rather than be party to the atrocities of the powerful. It'll be a fight amid a hail of arrows and steel. so righteous and noble that I would be proud to give my life for it. You stated your case well, my lord. Alright. And I don't actually want to do... let's see what Gila has, because I figure Gila will
What do you need?
default me. Each path before us demands a great sacrifice in exchange for a great reward. I am sure King Roland, Benedict, and Frederica have agonized over their proposals, so now we must agonize over our own decisions. I must say I'm surprised by your support for Frederica's vision. I've been by her side for years, but even I must admit it is rather hopeful, if I'm being charitable. Perhaps you see something I do not? Norzelia will be forever plagued by war. I wish to leave this place and create a new nation that knows only peace. You mean to forsake not only your domain but all Norzelia? I can see that Hyzant will not admit defeat should we manage to free the Roselle. Do you truly believe that searching for Centralia and starting anew will prove any easier? I do, though I acknowledge it is far easier said than done.
Uh-huh.
I should say so. It sounds like a daydream, if I may speak so plainly.
I don't know.
Yet the world is vast and full of wonders. I cannot in good faith argue that Centralia does not exist. Perhaps forging ahead is the only answer. May it lead us to the future you dream of, if this is what you desire. If nothing else, as Frederica's attendant, I must say that it warms my heart to see you support her so diligent. You must truly love her. All right. The final vote of the game. A moment of truth for all.
It is time to cast our votes. The opinions before us are many. Roland's, Frederica's, Benedict's. Which to choose? Approach the scales of conviction with your token at the ready.
All right. Let's just go through these three. There they are.
I agree wholeheartedly.
2.
My apologies.
I have no idea what Anna voted for.
I have faith in you.
3. That's it. Unless we go with Benedict. Oh my god, if there's a tie.
I'm with you.
Okay, nope, we're going there. If I would have shit my pants if there had been a tie and I personally decided the last vote. Alright?
The scales of conviction will illuminate the path we've chosen.
And there we go. Yep, Anna would have went with Benedict. So on a vote of 4 to 1 to 2, we are placing faith in Frederica's vision.
The way forward is decided. Frederica's dream is worth realizing. We will free the Roselle from the source.
That probably gives more points towards one category than any other. And that is the end of that. And next time on Triangle Strategy, we will see what the reaction is to a choice of a lifetime. Bye, guys. Until then, actually, no. Let's do my outro first. Until then, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter if that's something you care for. Join Lav's Museum. It's a Discord server. You can talk to me and my friends. And above all else, have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.